My name is Kenzie Bach. I'm the administrator of the Boston Housing Authority, and it is my delight to welcome you all here today, because although the real welcome should come and will in a moment from Kiana Rice, whose yard we are in. But the reason we're here is because of the BHA's First Home program, which is the home ownership program that was funded through the work of the City Council and the Mayor a couple of years ago with American Rescue Plan funds. The BHA had previously had a very small home ownership program to try to help its public housing and Section 8 residents buy a home in Boston. But the reality was that that dream was very much out of reach. In 12 years of a program partnering with HUD that let people use a Section 8 voucher to help them buy a home, we only had 25 families in 12 years use that program successfully. When the City Council and the Mayor asked what could be a sort of like generational, transformative game changer to fund with American Rescue Plan dollars, they came up with a whole suite of things to help with home ownership in the city. And one of the key things was to fund this BHA First Home program, which works with the Mayor's Office of Housing to provide our residents with $75,000 of down payment assistance, in addition to the Section 8 to home ownership program. And so what we're celebrating here today is the fact that just over the less than 2 years that program's been operational, more than 50 BHA residents have bought homes in the city of Boston, which is incredible. And one of them is Kiana Rice, who you're going to hear from in a moment. But, you know, for us, what's so amazing about that is, you know, we've really seen people's purchasing power actually be able to compete in this very hot market. So those are almost entirely market homes. They're not, there's a handful, a couple that are affordable, but almost all of them are just right off the market. And it's really allowed us to partner with banks. I know you'll hear in a minute about Leader Bank, who helped here, and realtors, and help our folks compete. And I just want to say personally that on my way in today, I met Lorraine, Kiana's mother, and I know that this is also home to Errol, her 12-year-old son. And just for us at the Housing Authority, the vision of anchoring generations here in Boston, generational wealth and generational stability is really what we're looking for. And so it's been an incredible success, but the challenge is that we've almost run out of money from the appropriation that the council and the mayor approved a couple of years ago. So we're at this point only able to fund houses from people who are already part of the program and close to closing. Our incredible homeownership staff, led by Megan Ryan, who's over in the corner, and a whole host of folks. We've got Tessa. I want to just list a few of the people. Tessa, Kelsey, Peter, Lily, Joanne. It's a huge team effort. Kelly and Glorine, David, Nick, Joel, Taylor. So it's been like this labor of love by all the BHA staff. And working with our residents, we've really set up a system to do this successfully. And the worst case thing that could happen would be for that to have to all ground to a halt because we don't have the funding to provide the down payment assistance. So it's in that context today that we're just so incredibly excited about what the mayor and the city councilors are going to speak to. And so I won't spoil the announcement, but I will just say that we couldn't be more proud of Kiana and just more grateful for everything that our city leaders have enabled us to do for our residents. So I want to introduce the mayor of the city of Boston, Mayor Michelle Wu.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Ms. Rice. Thank you, Kiana, for having us here. It's quite remarkable to, we hear about the numbers, we hear some of the stories, but then to be able to be in your yard and see the excitement and know that this is not only anchoring you, but you're a beautiful, amazing sixth grade son, and all the good that he and you and your family are doing for the community. We're so thankful. And thank you to all of my colleagues for being here as well. I don't know, Kiana, if you have a gavel inside, we can just get some business done here. There's enough of us. Let's take some votes. Thank you to all the counselors, Madam President Louis Jean, Councilor Pepin, Councilor Braden, Councilor Durkin, who's also chair of the COVID and ARPA Recovery Fund Committee, Councilor Santana, Councilor Fitzgerald, Councilor Worrell, Councilor Weber, And then, of course, in addition to Administrator Bach, this has been a collective effort from our cabinet as well. So I'm really grateful for Chief of Housing Sheila Dillon, Chief of Economic Opportunity Inclusion Shagun Idawu. I see our CFO for some reason standing all the way over there, Ashley Grafenberger, and to the entire team. They're at all levels. We know that this has not been just about funding, although that has been the spark to get us going, but there's been so much people work put into setting up the infrastructure to process, provide technical support, make sure that the families that we are working with really get all the way there, and that includes our partners in community as well. So thank you to everyone here. As mentioned, the City Council helped invest more than $500 million in federal ARPA funding from the Biden-Harris administration 2 years ago. That went to everything from housing and small businesses to infrastructure, the arts, early childhood education, and more. And if anyone's interested, we have tracked every penny of those investments, and through that reporting, you can see exactly the impact that has had throughout our neighborhoods over the last 2 years. And we've also continued to talk with residents and small business owners all over our city, veterans, parents, young people, about what's working here and where the challenges still remain. We all know it, and we hear it every day from our constituents. For too many families, owning a home here in Boston feels like an impossible dream. And so if you look at the data, as Administrator Bach said, sometimes it just takes taking down some of those barriers and it opens up a whole new world. We more than doubled the entire amount of the number of families over 12 years who've been able to participate in a BHA to home ownership program, more than double that in just 2 years, while setting up all the infrastructure to scale it up. And for those more than 50 BHA residents, former BHA residents, now homeowners and families in our city, we thank them because the impact is not just for the generations that will have firm roots in our city. We all benefit. This entire community benefits and our entire city benefits when we're able to see families who love Boston, who have built up our city, be able to stay here and keep contributing to everything that they're doing as neighbors, as civic leaders, and as working professionals in our city. So I'm not going to say too much more because my job today is mostly to introduce Kiana and ask her to share her own story. But I do just want to say congratulations again. We're so happy that you're making Boston your home and your family's home. So it's in this context and with the partnerships and collaborations represented here that we're excited to announce the final allocation of those remaining $7 million in ARPA funding. And so we'll work with the City Council, but through a lot of the feedback that we've all collected on how the programs have been working and what the fastest and most effective ones are to deploy that last bit of funding. $3 of the $7 million will go toward extending the incredible success of this BHA First Home program. Another $3 million will go toward the Office of Housing's Acquisition Opportunity Program, which has secured more than 1,000 market rate units across the city and made them permanently affordable for Boston's residents and families. And $1 million will go toward extending our Office of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion's Space Grant Program, which has already helped more than 60 small businesses find spaces, open up, and activate sometimes vacant retail spaces in our city, bringing new life with our small business anchors. So thank you to all the city councilors who are here today. We are going to use the amount of funding that is proposed to be allocated to this program in particular would again more than double the number of families who will be able to tell stories like Kiana's. So we're protecting homes from being bought up by outside investors who let them sit empty until they're flipped for maximum profit. We're investing in getting spaces filled with shops and restaurants that make our neighborhoods the kinds of communities where people want to put down roots and get to know their neighbors. Thank you to everyone here for being part of making Boston a home for everyone. And now it is my great, great honor to pass the mic over to Miss Kiana Rice.
I didn't write anything down. I was hoping that, I didn't have to share too much, but I guess I will. As y'all know, I'm Kiana. 6 months ago, I purchased this home with the help of the BHA program with the $75,000 down payment assistance and with Leader Bank. This has been a remarkable journey. I started out with BHA when I was 25. Got in the program at the time. I was low income at that time. And then through the years, I worked hard, secured a career, got up there. And at the time, when I secured my career, I decided, hey, I'm paying market rent. Why not go look for a house? This program, it is for people that need help getting in apartments and affordable places. So once I did that, I was already looking on my own for a home before I even knew about this program. So I was looking. Then one day, opened the mail, and there was a letter from BHA saying, do you have a 660 credit score? Do you have money in the bank? Have you been employed for 2 years? I'm like, yeah, I done all this. Yeah, that's me. What's going on? So I called, spoke to Megan, got Megan on the phone. Me and Megan was on the phone with my mom. I'm like, Megan, what's this program about? She's telling me we're drilling her, we're giving her all these questions. Like, Megan, you sure I can get this 75K? Because if so, I'm ready today. Sign me up. So, as you can see, it worked out. It wasn't easy. There was plenty of times where I gave up because someone came in the house and bought it for 50K over what I could afford. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this. And there was a time that I was looking outside of Boston, right? So I was like, they said I could look outside of Boston, so let me look outside of Boston. And then, I spoke to many different realtors. I spoke to many different people. They said, we never heard of a program like this. They said, if you're going to get 75K to buy a house, you better move to Boston. So I was like, you know what? They're absolutely right. I'm taking this money and I'm running with it. So that's my story. I secured right now, this is a good look. This program's a good look. Me and my son live here. Now he can make as much noise and hop around on Fortnite at night, and nobody's calling the police or the apartment. No one's telling me to leave. So it's good. I secured this for me, my future. My plan is to build generational wealth. Hopefully this is a stepping stone where I could go get another house. So I appreciate all the people that was on board for me, Leader Bank, Megan, Tessa, the mayor's office. Just everyone in the process, because, it's a dream. This is a dream. Not everyone can afford a house, especially in this market, what's going on. Even people, two-home household, wife, husband, telling me, how did you buy a house? I can't even afford a house. So this right here, let this go out to all the future BHA homeowners that's going through the process. Keep it going, keep pushing, and at the finish line, it will be great.
So now I will pass it on to all of our counselors. We'll start with Madam President and then Madam Chair of the committee, and then any counselors can say a quick word, and then we will have our other cabinet chiefs close it out, Chief Idowu and Chief Dillon.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you so much, Kiana. It sounds like you did prepare, so that sounded really great. And sorry we didn't come with a housewarming gift, but you are the gift. This is a gift to the city, to have us all here in your backyard and for you to uplift your story so that more people can learn about this program. So I'm Ruth Louisiane, President of the Boston City Council and at-large City Councilor. I'm so happy to be here with all of my colleagues, so many of us who started on this journey a few years ago when we were thinking about allocations for this ARPA money, and we wanted to make sure that we allocated it to what matters most to the residents of Boston. And this, where we're standing, ensuring home ownership, ensuring intergenerational wealth, is what matters most to the residents of Boston, which is why we invest in this program. Preventing displacement through our acquisition opportunity program is what matters to the people of Boston, which is why we invested $27 million in that program 2 years ago, and why we are investing $3 of the $7 million in AOP now. Making sure that we have businesses that can thrive here, especially businesses owned in our neighborhoods like in Roxbury and Hyde Park, is why we're investing money in the space program. Because we need to make sure that we're building a Boston where everyone in every neighborhood can succeed and can prosper. And so I want to thank all of my colleagues. I know we're here in D4, in Councilor Orell's district, but really you see such a strong showing from the Boston City Council because we care deeply about these investments. And I know Ellie's here from Councilor Coletta Zapata's office. We care deeply about addressing issues of housing, affordable home ownership, about making sure that more stories like Kiana can be possible, where she can be able to pass this home on to her son and think about what it looks like to build wealth across generations. So I want to thank Mayor Wu for partnering with the City Council in these investments. I want to thank the Mayor's Office of Housing. There are so many advocates in the House. I see MAHA, the Masters of Affordable Housing Alliance in the House, and all the work that they do to really make home ownership a reality. I want to thank Kenzie, Administrator Bach at the BHA. This is an all-hands-on-deck effort to make sure that we know that we have an expensive city. We know that people are being pushed out. How do we prevent that? We prevent that through intentional investment, through equitable investment, correcting for where we've erred policy-wise in the past. And we do that here in Dorchester. We do it in all of our neighborhoods. So again, it's just a joy to be here with all of my colleagues from around the city. This is when we shine best, when we're working together to really address the issues of our residents and to make sure that Kiana can have great barbecues in her backyard. So thank you. Without further ado, I'll pass it on to Councilor Sharon Durkin, who's the chair of the COVID Recovery Committee.
Thank you so much, Council President. And I'm just floored to be able to stand here with someone who has benefited from one of these programs. As the chair of COVID-19 recovery, I think if you were to zoom out on all the investments Boston has made through the COVID-19 recovery funds, through ARPA funds, they really represent making Boston a home for everyone. So thank you, Mayor, for your investment and your forward thinking. But I think as we think about this last $7 million in funds, we're really talking about how can we bump up the programs that we know work, and supporting local businesses, supporting acquisition of housing, and supporting home ownership are things that we've already seen work with the money that has been spent. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the leadership of then the COVID-19 recovery chair, Kenzie Bach, who's now the BHA administrator. Her leadership is really what started and kicked off so many of these programs that we see working today. And with this final delivery of like $7 million through these 3 programs, we're going to see increased investment, and we're going to really be able to enjoy these things and these programs that have really shaped people's lives. And thank you so much. It's an honor to be at your doorstep, and it's an honor to be standing here with my council colleagues. And I am excited to see the $7 million spent for things that Bostonians truly need, and it's an honor to be part of this process. So next I'll pass it to my council colleague, Liz Braden.
Good morning, everyone. It really is a delight, and I'm very, very excited to be here today. I'm Liz Braden. I'm the District Councillor for Alston-Brighton District 9 and also the Chair of the Housing Committee. I wouldn't be a City Councillor if it wasn't for the housing crisis in Boston. That was the one issue that pushed me to run for office way back in 2019, and we still have a housing crisis. It makes me very, very proud to stand with my colleagues and my councillor, now Director Bach, or Administrator Bach at the BHA, and all of the city's administration here to celebrate this last allocation of $7 million to these 3 programs. Home ownership is a critical issue. It's a way to stabilize our communities. It's a way to build intergenerational wealth, and it's a way to control your housing costs over a long period of time. In effect, it is rent control. You don't have rent, but you can predict what your housing costs are going to be over a long period of time. And it's a way to stabilize and support all of our communities across the city. So congratulations. I hope we continue to build on this going forward. We have to go find some more money. And thank you all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Worrell, and I'm the District 4 Boston City Councilor. Just want to congratulate you for choosing Boston to be your home, but specifically choosing District 4.
That's right.
Also, just want to give a big shout out to the mayor, Administrator Bach, and past and present council colleagues for making all these allocations happen, and also to the BHA and MOH team. You guys are really making the dream of a lot of Bostonians happen. So many people think that buying a home here in the city of Boston is out of reach. But because of down payment assistance, the Section 8 to home ownership voucher, the creation of affordable housing, we are seeing low to moderate Bostonians and everybody being able to compete and buy a home in the most competitive, expensive real estate market in the country. So thank you for all your work and looking forward to making sure that we continue these investments on the City Council. I'll now pass it off to my council colleague at large, Councilor Santana.
Congratulations, Kiana. This is just such an honor to join you in this celebration here today. And I want to thank Mayor Wu, Administrator Bach, and everyone here in the city for the work to make today happen. My name is Henry Santana, Boston City Councilor at large, and as someone who grew up in Boston Housing Authority, this is the story that I want to see for all of our residents here in the city of Boston. I want to make sure that people use Boston Housing Authority as a stepping stone to create and to buy a home here in the Boston. And Kiana, your story is a story of Boston, one that we want to create for every family and every resident here in the city of Boston. I want to thank Mayor Wu for these critical investments in these three programs, and we'll work on the council to make sure that these investments are there. And just really want to make sure that housing is a human right. We want to make sure that everyone has access to these programs, and I'm going to continue to work to make sure that happens. So thank you, everyone, and I'll introduce District 3 City Councilor John Fitzgerald.
Thank you very, very much, everybody. And thank you so much for having us here in your backyard. Listen, I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson who said to make one person breathe easier is to have made a difference. And I know me and my colleagues, we catch a lot of flack, right? It's part of the job. But it's the days like this, where you really do see a difference in the quality of life for even just one individual, and it helps you know that you're doing the right thing. And so, Kiana, you and Errol, no pressure, right? But we're counting on you, and we're glad that you're here, and we hope you stick around for generations to come. Thank you very much, everybody.
Hi, my name is Ben Weber. I'm the District 6 City Councilor. We have a housing crisis in Boston, and we have a wealth gap. And I want to thank the mayor for supporting allocations like this that target those two things. I want to thank Administrator Bach for starting this process, and I'm happy to support the ARPA allocations that we're talking about today. Kiana, my daughter is 12, and it's great that she will live in a city with your son, and thank you for choosing Boston, and I look forward to seeing you around. I think one last counselor here. We've got Councilor, District 5 City Councilor Enrique Pepin.
Good morning, all. My name is Enrique Pepin. I represent District 5. That's Roslindale, Hyde Park, and about half of Mattapan. But today I want to congratulate Ms. Rice, because this is a huge step forward for not just you, but for Bostonians in general. And to the mayor's administration, to BHA, to MOH, and to everyone that had a role in this, seriously, thank you. And thank you for all the work that you continue to put in. I also grew up in Boston public housing. And to see that there is a step forward in being able to get out of BHA and be able to invest in a home that you call yourself, that is newsworthy, and that is why we're here to celebrate your accomplishments. And I just learned that through this program, we've been able to accumulate over $25 million worth of assets in all the homes that have been purchased because of this program. That is what you call investment. That is what you call something that families can be proud of and us as Bostonians can be proud of. So with that, I just want to say I'm looking forward to continuing to work with the administration, with my city council colleagues, to make sure that housing continues to be that number one topic that we consider the most important one, because as my former colleague said, housing is a human right. Thank you all so much for having me here.
Hello, it's warm, so I will be quick, but Sheila Dillon with the Mayor's Office of Housing. And before I start, I really just want to thank so much the City Council and the Mayor. Not many cities invested the lion's share of their ARPA recovery funds in housing, and Boston did. And I can't think of another city that actually did that. And with that money, we have helped people buy homes. We've created hundreds and hundreds of new affordable units throughout the city. We've greened our affordable housing. And we have been able to really stand up the Acquisition Opportunity Program that has allowed us to take rental units out of the speculative market, give rental stability to the tenants, and flip those properties into permanent, well-run, well-managed affordable housing. And so I am so thrilled that we are going to continue to invest in the AOP program. We have, like the mayor said, the program has deed restricted and stabilized about 1,000 families. 400 of those units received ARPA funding, and we have a pipeline of over 350 units where people, good organizations, good developers want to do the same thing. So this money is going to be extremely well used, and I'm just so very, very thankful. Before I say shove off, I do want to call a couple of MOH staff people. Karen Rabaza here is from the Home Center, and Christy McCory. They're working with all the new home buyers. We've got Adam Goldstein, who has really worked on the AOP program, and this is a hard program, right? You're buying occupied buildings, you have life safety issues, a lot of tenant needs, and he has really, moved these projects forward. And finally, Rick Wilson, our A&F director, who stays up at night worrying about spending this money and spending it well. So thank you to the MOH team. Thank you. Hand over.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shagan. I'm the Chief of Economic Opportunity and Inclusion. For anyone who says that Boston is too cold, it is 147 degrees right now. And so I'm going to be very uncharacteristic and keep it brief. And I also want to thank the 5 city councilors who could not be here in person today because it's keeping this program very brief, so we're not standing here in the sun. And just want to say we're going to be very well acquainted shortly because we're going to be retreating to your AC right after this program. I just want to thank the mayor and the team here for giving me the opportunity to share just a couple of words. Since Councilor Fitzgerald shared a quote, I'm also known for proverbs and quotes, so I'm going to use one too. There's a proverb that says that to talk much and arrive nowhere is the same as climbing a tree to catch a fish. And there were very, very many future homeowners and also entrepreneurs who for a long time in the city were seeking the resources to be able to give their dreams the space to grow. And one of the things that the mayor did when coming into office was to ensure from in 22 when ARPA was first allocated to EOI and where we are today, more than $30 million has gone towards supporting our small businesses throughout the city of Boston. And one of those programs is the SPACE program, supporting pandemic-affected community enterprises. And this program to date has helped to ensure that more than 60 entrepreneurs like Mo Rock and Fusion, who's right now in the testing grounds at Boston Public Market, going to have their space shortly, or Bold Skin Babe in our downtown area for any of you that are seeking facials shortly, right next to our small business office, or Spark FM, which moved from a little tiny place to now they have a whole floor over in the Mattapan area, and so many other entrepreneurs has helped them to not only get spaces all across our city, Danny's Queer Bar in our Copley area, first lesbian bar to open in many, many, many years here in the city. But they've also hired Bostonians. And so these 60 businesses have hired or created close to 600 new jobs here in the city of Boston, things that we know are going to give folks the opportunity to grow their own dreams. and be able to participate in programs like Administrator Bach and Chief Dillon have put together, thanks to the support of Mayor Wu and our City Council colleagues. So I just want to say that this administration no longer interested in the talk, but in delivering. Former First Lady Michelle Obama gave us the challenge to do something, and we're not just interested in doing something, but doing something that matters. And so I want to thank all of you again. I want to point out our Deputy Chief, Donald Wright, who's helped to steer all this. But again, appreciate all of you up here for helping us to make sure that we are, as Councilor Pepin pointed out, helping people to build wealth here in the city of Boston.
Any questions on topic for anyone up here? Thank you.
Mayor, you have pushed for several policies to address affordable housing issues and programs, including rent control, transfer fees, your property tax, couple of petitions. Do you have any update on how negotiations are going and whether you expect that the legislature will pass it before the end of the year, particularly transfer fees?
Okay, that's a stretch for on topic, but I'll take it anyway, because there actually is a really important connection there. The reason why, so basically the remaining $7 million was held aside just to have some cushion, just to make sure that we would know how things worked, and to save time for later. The dollars do have a clock on them, though, and so because there were deadlines tied in legislatively with ARPA, they have to be obligated by the end of 2025, and then 24, obligated by the end of this calendar year, and then spent by the end of the next calendar year. Okay. All right, never mind. I don't know anything. Obligated by the end of 2024 and then spent by the end of 2026. And so it's, even with that 2-year runway, it is still, many projects take multiple years to do. So we need to put them to places where we have things up and running, know they're going to get out the door and be used and have maximum impact. And so that's why these particular programs are the ones that the council and our administration have filed for. Now, what happens after the $7 million runs out, right? We have to find a way to keep these going. There are too many families, and the benefits are just too great for our entire communities to let the programs go. And so many of the items at the state level are about continuing the progress that we've seen and that we've proved is possible through the ARPA funding and what we've been doing at the city level. Transfer fee would unlock, some estimates say, $100 million a year dedicated to housing affordability for our seniors to stay in their homes, and for programs like this and like the other ones that Chief Dillon was mentioning to be able to keep going. That is, again, we know we've been able to double this program in just a short amount of time. The impact is huge, and we're going to keep fighting for that funding, be able to have sustainability to what we know matters for residents. In terms of some of the other proposals, formal session is over at the State House, but there were a number of big items left that were not done yet, and they've been continuing the work of working through them. Shout out to the City Council as well, and I think among the lead sponsors of the liquor license bill, Councilor Worrell, who else was on the Councilor Fernandez Anderson and Council President Lujan were the main sponsors of the home rule petition that ultimately led to now 225 new liquor licenses coming to the city of Boston. And that happened after session ended as well. So we're still in conversations and are going to keep pushing for what matters for Boston and for our community members. Okay, thank you all so much. Okay, let's do one photo with Kiana. And is that okay if you do one picture with you?